Morning, looking YouTube. What's going on? Yeah, on Facebook.
There's a new style of fishing today. It's not rods and reels or tackle. Rods and reels that have replaced computers, and the tackle are now.
Morning, TJ Ferguson.
Kevin Britton at the Iowa National Bank. Never provide your personal information in response to an unsolicited. No legitimate business or financial institution will ask you for information by an email. Helping your dreams become reality at the Iowa National Bank. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
When it comes to your final arrangements, shouldn't you make the decisions?
Yeah.
The arrangements you make.
What's that?
Your exact wishes and
Yeah.
desires.
Yeah.
Rearranging your own service will help to ease the burden of your loved ones. It will also alleviate any questions, problems, or differences which can occur among family members. Call Clarity Funeral Services today to learn more about rearrangements. 286-4449. 286-4449. Owned and operated by County Clarity. Clarity Funeral Services.
Live from First Day Bank Studios, good morning. I'm Oran Jackson.
And I'm Micah Frazier.
And it's 7 a.m. We're committing this time to reading some scripture. Today it's Ruth 2. It says, "May the Lord repay you for what you have done. May you be richly rewarded by the Lord, the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come to take refuge." That was Ruth 2. This verse is all about God noticing faithfulness. Ruth made hard choices, sacrificed comfort, and stayed loyal, and God honored it. The message is simple. Every act of faith, every step of obedience, every quiet moment of doing the right thing is seen by God, and He rewards those who take refuge in Him. This 7 a.m. scripture is brought to you by Trey Collins Construction and Trucking Company. That's 580-236-9295.
And one of the topics today we'll be talking about is late bloomers who change the world. So if you're out there thinking that you got to have it all figured out today, tomorrow, or by the next year, just know that for a lot of people throughout history, they were up even in their 60s and 70s before they found what they were, meant to do or whatever. So, stay tuned. You're listening to 96.7 KBEL. Here's Billy Currington with Good Directions. I'm stupid. Sean, are you going to the game or not?
So that's all?
Yes,
sir.
He's supposed to drive me. I forgot.
Some of her sweet tea. Has Sean Duck ever got a DUI?
No, they can't catch him.
This is Oran Jackson with KBEL. How's it going? Oh, yeah.
Was going to another little trick knee of mine, that one that kept me out of the NFL. Yeah, that's acting up. I remember that.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. You as well. Bye.
Sean Douglas says he was going to, but that old trick knee that kept him out of the NFL, that one's acting up now. So
Oh, man.
I'm gonna worry about the DWB.
Some of her sweet tea. Hear me. Good direction. Green. Hey, yes, sir. That's Billy Currington. Good directions. Good morning, Micah Frazier. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Dude, I'm doing outstanding this Friday Eve.
Yes, sir. You know, we talked about being, late bloomers in the world that changed, the world. Classic country singer Willie Nelson, outlaw Willie Nelson. Did you know he wasn't until he was like 43 before the majority of us knew who Willie Nelson or the people back then. He was already 47 or for like 43 before the hits that everybody knows is already it became known in the 70s. So there was one we seen a video, I want to say like in the 60s or 50s. It was in black and white, I know that. But it was young Willie Nelson. And you would never think that was Willie Nelson because, in your mind, when you think of Willie Nelson, you think of for me, since the 90s, it's been the old gray-haired guy, hippie-looking not ponytail, what do you call those? Braids, 2 braids. And he's always looked like that. But now it was a young, clean cut, pompadour haircut, suit and everything. But yeah, there's different things that people come along and they don't, they either stumble upon it or they try all these years and they finally find success. Grandma Moses, Anne Marie Robertson Moses, an artist, found her calling at 78, Oran Jackson. After arthritis ended her ability to farm, she took up painting and took it seriously and became one of America's most celebrated folk artists with paintings exhibited internationally. How about Colonel Harlan Sanders, entrepreneur, KFC, found major success at 65. So imagine how long this man's been cooking chicken, been using his own recipe, or trying to find those 11 herbs and spices. And at 65, finally, somebody, I'm gonna have to look deeper into that story.
Yeah.
But there's a story, like he just did it. I think he had a store or something, and he just started frying his chicken, and people would stop by, boom, get some chicken. Next thing you know, the next town over knows, and then the next town, and then it just blew up. But after a long string of failed jobs and businesses, he began franchising his fried chicken recipe. Kentucky Fried Chicken became a global fast food empire. So that was at 65. So imagine the failures in the business. At 65, bro, that's like, now we think of if you're not this by the time you're 25 or 30 or 35 or 40, now you're automatic failure. Give up on life, just, this and that. But we're here to tell you that you still may have a calling and, don't waste it. You're listening to 96.7 KBL with Oran Jackson and Micah Frazier. Give us a call. Give us your request, 286-6642. And here's Come a Little Closer by Dierks Bentley. But what made my buddy Oran Jackson? Sean said he's more worried about a DWB.
A DWB? What's a DWB?
Driving while black. I said, but what would make my buddy Oran Jackson ask such a question?
The conversations.
He said, because you crazy and you got to be drunk at 7 a.m. to be talking crazy like this.
Both into the 7 a.m. scripture drunk. What's up, Facebook?
It says Colonel Sanders started KFC by selling fried chicken at his roadside restaurant in Corbin, Kentucky during the 1930s. He perfected his famous recipe by developing a method of pressure frying chicken, which was faster than pan frying and resulted in moist, tender chicken. He then franchised the concept with the first franchise opening in 1952. See, he started selling chicken 22 years before he even went.
Yeah, was he like
Public
suicidal too? I heard he was like suicidal. It was like going to commit suicide. I heard like a story on that.
I'm not as think as you drunk. I am.
Yeah, you're drunk, buddy.
Said he died of pneumonia 6 months after being diagnosed with acute leukemia at the age of 90. So at least he got to, what was that, 25 years? He got to at least live 25 years like rich and all that good stuff.
Dumb little loser.
What's going on Facebook? How y'all doing this morning? Chilly November 4th, Thursday morning.
Drunk raccoon.
It says Colonel Sanders didn't cook that chicken. His slaves cooked that chicken. Don't know white man know nothing about no livers and spices. You been watching what is that, Little Man? That's right. Live on 2:59 in the morning with Oran Jackson
Yo,
and
yo, yo.
Micah Frazier. How's everybody doing this morning? Hope you're getting up, getting ready, getting that coffee or that hot chocolate for the kids, getting them ready for school. Kids, y'all have a great day at school. You're listening to 96.767 KBEL. And, I just thought we'd do a little fun thing, red flags throughout the age groups, and we're going to get back to that because they try to roast people. We ain't trying to do that. But here's some public polls that what's your, what do you think about tipping? The tipping.
I think you should tip.
But how far do we go with this? Like, waiters, waitresses, bartenders, barkeeps, whatever you call them, stuff like that, services. But what about the local
like
store? Yeah, like, or even just, you go to your local store and, you go buy soda or candy at your local convenience store. And what do they got? You put your card in, and would you like to tip? Or, tip or no tip. And it's like, for what? Like, bro, you getting paid to do what you're doing right now. Like, I know it may not be much, but that's what you agreed on. And all you did was just scan this item. And, it really was, I think of tipping as more of a service. Like,
if someone served you.
Yeah, like if you brought me the Dr. Pepper and went and found my candy and I didn't have to do nothing, then okay, cool, we can talk about that. But it's more of, like I said, waiters, waitresses and stuff, you're being waited on. They are bringing you your food. They are, you go in to have conversations with your family and not really, the whole point of a restaurant is not having to cook and, maybe celebrate. So they take the cooking and the cleaning and all that stuff out of the equation to where you and your family can have a good time. So we'll get more into that after our first request of the night or day, Big Iron by Marty Robbins here on 96.7. A good night will overrun,
True.
just a regular salary job.
If you're confident in your craft, though, you'd take tips all day.
Oh, most certainly. That was Big Iron by Marty Robbins. And we were talking about the tipping culture. And, you know, a lot of people, I do not like going out to eat with people that do not tip at least something. You know, it's a pet peeve of mine. And sometimes I'll cover the cost just so, you know, the little high school kid, you know, on a random Saturday night is just, you know, hey, kid did a pretty good job. There's 20 of us. And, you know, only 3 of us chipped in for the tip. Like, come on now. Like, I don't know. Is it mandatory for me? No, not always. I have not tipped, I think, 3 times in my lifetime. But it was for terrible, disgruntled service that I did not cause. It was, I don't know what they had going on in life and stuff, but maybe I could have been a little bit, you know, easier on them. But no, it was, you know, just they were kind of rude. And there was no fixing that. It was kind of like, I'm just done with you. Like, you know, you don't need to come by anymore. I'm just, you know, let's just get through this. But, you know, what do you guys think? 286-6642. You can even text and let us know what you think. Or you can get on our Facebook and YouTube live chat and let us know what you think about the tipping culture. How much is too much? Is there a certain amount that you tip? Or do you go by percentage? Or this and that. Here's another thing about percentage too. Now, I have yet to be at a restaurant that's, you know, a 5-star. You know, you gotta make a reservation, and you know they serve. You know, they got an actual chef back there. You know, 5-course meal and this and that. But for me, if you're able to, you know, because that's the ones that really make the huge tips. You know, you're talking about, you know, $100 a table. About that area, and people pay it, but then they go to Papa's or some other local restaurant, and then they tip by percent. You know, tip. That's where I'm kind of lost on tipping percentage. Is if you're able to afford the $100 at this restaurant, what's really keeping you from? If it's around the same service, I understand the higher class restaurants are made to wait on you hand and foot. You know, this and that. But if I could tip $50 to this kid or this person, what's stopping me from paying $50 to the local teenager or whatever at your local restaurant here or bar? So I don't know. Usually I just go by, if the service was good, at a minimum $10. Because, you know, I don't go out and eat the most high cost food or, you know, different stuff. I do love a good steak though. So, you know, the prices are going to be a little bit higher for a steak. But I just don't, if the service is excellent, you get $20 for me. $10 and then if nothing else, if it was bare minimum, $5. But I also think about they're waiting on 3 other tables. So, you know, I don't know how much they make. You know, it could be $5 an hour. Okay, I just got them up to 10. So if the next table pays whatever they made, $17.50, $20 an hour maybe for that hour. So I kind of think it's not my job to make sure you're making $60 an hour, if that makes sense. So how much is too much? Let us know. 286-6642. Am I wrong? Let me know. You're listening to the live on 259 in the morning here on 96.7 KBEL. Here's the Red Clay Strays with Wondering Why. Never wear white on after Labor Day and pee into the wind. Been there, done that. Morning, everybody. How y'all doing today in TikTok world? No Cassie Johnson this morning. TikTok, we're talking about tipping culture. How much is too much? You go to your local convenience store, and what is the first thing before you slide your card in? Would you like to tip? For what? For what, bro? You just got me my cigarettes. That's all you put 20 on 2 for me. So what exactly am I tipping for? Then again, do you tip by percentage, or do you tip a certain amount for subpar service, good service, and great service? Sean Duggan says, never wear white after Labor Day and never pee into the wind. Good advice for Sean Duggan's tip.
Don't wear white after Labor Day?
Yeah.
Did I wear that and someone said something?
Yeah, it was him, because it used to be a fashion, like, stigma. I guess back in the day, like, after Labor Day was or before Labor Day, it was supposed to be the new, trends and stuff. So it's like, never wear white after Labor Day. I just know it was in all those. Did you hear crows have lost the ability to communicate? Scientists are struggling to find the cause. That's hilarious. Love that. Producer JC, that's awesome. Just a silly dad joke to make you laugh. I love that. That's awesome.
Just a silly dad joke to make you laugh.
I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna give you your props though. That was the Red Clay Strays with Wondering Why. And did you know producer JC on our TikTok live said, did you hear that the crows have lost their ability to communicate and scientists are struggling to find the cause? The cause. Here's some red flags when it comes to generations. We got Gen Z communicating only through Snap DMs and avoiding real conversations. And this is more of a, yeah, that's us. It just, dang it. Yeah. You can't argue with facts. Confusing trauma bonding with connection. I think that's kind of everybody, though. I mean, you've seen it over the years. Soft ghosting instead of clearly ending things. Ooh. How many times have you been through that, Oran Jackson?
None.
Like, just where nobody really breaks it off. You just kind of stop talking to each other. You just don't snap anymore. You just don't send that good morning snap, or you don't watch their story anymore, or you don't comment on their story anymore. Producer JC says, thank you, you're welcome. If she feels attacked, I've been communicating with memes. That's one of the best things. You can have a full conversation with just memes nowadays. So it's not all red flags. It's, but it is, and now it's my turn. Millennials, over romanticizing healing, but avoiding actual accountability. Ouch. Ow. staying in bad relationships because we've been together too long to quit.
Ooh.
That's gonna burn some people out there. All right, I'm gonna let y'all cool off because we're gonna go down to Gen X. What's Gen X got? Emotional stoicism. I don't talk about feelings. The classic Gen X, just always the super tough bad guy with the. The one thing I've noticed about these tough Gen X guys is they never have a face or a profile picture. It's always of like something political or a skull with a sword and fire and all this stuff, or just some random stuff. And those are the guys that are like being all mean on the internet. Oh, you got soft hands. You wouldn't make it in my world. This and that. Avoiding serious conversations indefinitely. That's so Gen X. That is so Gen X. I had a boss that was Gen X, and it was just like, it's uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable for her to have, to get down to the nitty gritty and, just have these conversations using sarcasm instead of vulnerability. How often do you see that? Not even just people, just on the internet, the classic cliche Gen X. How about baby boomers? Now, this is where grandma and grandpa come in. But viewing compromise as weakness. Oh, you ever start talking to, older generations about political, they kind of started it. I think the only thing back then is we got social media to connect with each other. But you think about it, they've had conversations at the dinner table. Oh, we don't mess with that family because they're Democrats or they're liberals or they're this and that. No different than today, mind you, but it's just it wasn't as well known back then. And you wonder why they used to say, don't say who you vote for. I don't talk about politics because it's conversation ruiners. Equating financial provision with emotional contribution. Ugh. Dismissing mental health as excuses. That's a big one. There was no science back then, like it is today. So the baby boomers you're just lazy, Oran Jackson. Never mind your fidgeting and, all the telltale signs of why you can't sit still. It is what it is. Difficult apologizing. I said it, so that's it. And it's more, and I think that's more of everybody though these days. It's difficult to get somebody to get a real apology.
That was baby boomers?
Yeah, that was baby boomers.
That's true though.
Yeah, it's just the silent generations. This is the 1928 to 45. Extremely rigid gender roles. Oh yeah. Emotion. That was back when, but that was back when.
That's good. That's not bad.
Yeah, that was back when the man could work and the lady could stay home and watch the kids. And there was no babysitters. There was, but not everybody needed them, and they didn't cost you an arm and a leg.
No, gender roles aren't bad. That's
they took care of the house. The house was taken care of. The bills were paid. People were happy. I think the more and more we go on with life, we're just find stuff to complain about.
Yeah.
We've had it so good. We've never been through a war as catastrophic as World War II or now mind you, the war on Iraq and stuff. Yes, that's bad. We had soldiers die and stuff, and some still dealing with the effects of it. But World War II, World War I, and Vietnam, we haven't been through that cycle yet, or to that extent. So it's the more and more, it just seems like we find stuff to gripe about, and that's what we're on. So let us know what you think. 286-6642, or get on our chat and let us know if we're wrong or what you think. We want to hear from you. You're listening to Live on 259 in the morning with Oran Jackson and Micah Frazier. here on Idabelle's First, 96.7 KBEL. We got Micah's Man Up coming up after Mama, He's Crazy.
Mama, he's crazy.
Yeah. Hush your mouth. I've been married 15 years. I'm settled now. Yeah, I think that's fun. We can all kind of. You ever watch those skits? Damon, appreciate it. You ever watch those skits on Saturday Night Live where they're it's like two black news anchors and then two white news anchors, and they start reading the story, and they're like, coming out of a small trailer park, a methamphetamine bust, and the black people are like, oh, that's you guys. And they start keeping score, and then that's why I kind of was like, I was kind of like, at some point, like, yeah, that's us. That's us. But, it's that same kind of deal when you have fun with it, our differences and stuff. Appreciate the life of Damon and the gift. Morning, Cassie Johnson. How you doing this morning? Sean Douglas said, whoever worries about making a livable wage as a server, tell them to work at Papa's because they definitely raised their prices there. That they did. They probably did. I did notice it. It's gone up to an extent.
Papa's?
Yeah. Emotional damage.
Emotional damage.
Cass is pretty good. How are y'all? Chiropractor today, thank God. We're doing excellent.
Friday Eve.
Friday Eve. Broken Bow kids get out at noon tomorrow. I know they're happy. And then we got that game tomorrow. Money's crazy, crazy over me. Big Red, what's going on? Money's crazy. We're going to do the opening network.
After your man up?
Okay.
Or
yeah, we can do that.
Let me play these commercials.
Okay.
Before your man up.
Placed and are replacing the old broken bow cable lines in Idaho. This is bringing high-speed internet and satellite quality television to your home and business in Idaho. The internet is lightning fast, and the television reception is amazing. And it includes Oklahoma City television stations. Visit the Pine office in Idaho for more information on the fiber optic plans becoming available to all Idaho businesses and residents. The Pine office
Pretty
is in
good.
Southeast Washington.
I'm back on my starving diet. I gained 4 pounds back. It'll fluctuate, don't. It'll go back for it, just like anything. Just get back on. Get back to it. Even when if you. And last week Thanksgiving, so. Even when you break the diet, it's okay. The next day, just start again. That's right. It's time here on live on 259 in the morning with Oran Jackson and Micah Frazier here on 96.7 KBEL. It is time for Micah's Man Up. And we all love a good overnight success story. But here's the truth. We were talking about Harlan Sanders, Colonel Sanders, making it at 65. when he had been selling chicken for 22 years before he got the nerve to, sell it, make it a franchise. Real success doesn't run on a schedule. Some people find their stride at 20, some at 40, some at 70. And guess what? Every one of those timelines is right on time. If you're listening today, feeling behind, take a breath. You're not late. You're just on your way. The experiences you've had, the detours you've taken, the moments you thought were setbacks, they've all been preparing you for what's next. So whether you're starting a new career, launching a dream project, or simply choosing a better path, remember, better late than never isn't just saying, it isn't just a saying, it's permission. Permission to begin now, and now is the perfect time to start. That has been your Micah's Man Up here on this beautiful Thursday morning, December 4th. A little bit chilly out there. Make sure don't overdo it in traffic. Don't be rushing to work. We want you to get there safely. We want everybody to share the road equally, and it's okay to not be aggressive and make sure that you stay alive. You're listening to 96.7 KBEL. Here is your O&N Network. And I had some wine last week. It's got to be the wine. I don't know, stupid cat. Hey, it's fine. Perfectly fine.
You good? You're all good.
Is Oran going to the game? I know you are, Micah.
Yes, sir. We all ride with Sean Ducky.
Yo. He's going to take us to KFC.
Yeah, I'm going to the game now.
I'm excited.
It's National Cookie Day. Yes, sir.
Cookie Day?
Yes, sir. National Sock Day, too.
Man, I'm jealous, I swear. The last will be on. Sean said KFC because I'm black. No, because you're fat. Because you like chicken. I like chicken. The Colonel serves good chicken. Y'all should send me video on the way. It'll be like, what is it, wrestling? What was that, Sean, they called it? Where the wrestlers, they rode in the same vehicle together to get to the next show or whatever. KFC is good. I miss when, this is the fat person in me, but I miss that sandwich they had where it was just 2 fried chicken breasts with a slice of cheese and some whatever sauce in between. Like the chicken was the bread of the sandwich.
For real?
Mm-hmm.
That sounds kind of good.
It was delicious. Like, it was just 2 fried chicken breasts, covered in the KFC original recipe, but it was just 2 chicken breasts.
Oh, yeah.
And they just put the cheese and whatever sauce in the middle, slapped another chicken breast on it, and that was your sandwich. Like, it was so good. Good morning. How are y'all doing in TikTok land? What is kayfabe? Remember we used to have one? Yeah. You going to Popeyes? Popeyes is good.
For real, I've never been.
Have you not?
I saw a commercial
It's
last
good.
night.
They all got their different tastes. Like Churches. I love Churches. Back in the day, man, they used to.
Churches.
Yeah, Church's chicken. I think the nearest one's in Paris.
Oh.
But No, what is that? Foreman, Arkansas, before you get to Texarkana. I've never been there. Never been where? Churches or Popeyes? Never been to either, really. Yeah, they all got their unique tastes. Like they're all good. But churches back in the day, like mid 2000s or late 2000s, their spicy chicken strips was the bomb. But they were like freaking that big. Like they were like huge pieces of chicken. Now you get like the little bitty scrapes of chicken. You get 5 or 6 of them. But back in the day, you got 3 strips. And they were huge. Popeyes is good. It's
Popeyes?
They just got their own flavor. So
is it dry? It looks dry.
Some can be. Some that I got on the airport was.
Or is the biscuits? Are they
biscuits, the honey biscuits?
Are they good?
They're good. Oh, they're delicious. You need something to drink with them now. Yes, sir. Live on 259 in the morning with Oran Jackson and Micah Frazier. Hope you're getting to work on time. Here's some more things before you head into work. We talked about, better late than never. Laura Ingalls Wilder, an author, published her first book at 65. She transformed her childhood experiences into the Little House series, now classic works of American literature. What about Mary Delaney, botanical artist, created her famous work at 72, invented paper mosaics, incredibly detailed botanical collages, still studied for the scientific accuracy and artistic beauty. Raymond Chandler, a novelist, the creator of Philip Marlowe, published his first novel at 51 after being fired from an oil company. He reinvented himself as a writer and became one of the defining voices of hard-boiled detective fiction. So there you go. There's just some more examples. You don't have to have it today, but keep working. There's always another door, and one closes, another door opens. Now, let's get back to our generations. We talked about the red flags about each generation. Let's talk about some green flags. Let's end it on a good note. Gen Z is emotionally open and unafraid to discuss mental health. That's a big thing for us older generation. We don't want to admit when we're not okay. That's one of the most difficult things is when you just ain't feeling yourself. And maybe it's hard for anybody to come to that in terms because you don't want to. Nobody wants to go down that. It's like when you get physically sick, when you get a cold or you get the flu, you try to act like you don't, or you got the sniffles, but don't necessarily mean I got the flu. And then, man, my head's hurting a little bit, but it don't mean I got the flu. You don't have the flu until the doctor tells you got the flu. So, a strong sense of personal boundaries for Gen Z. And I think that's catching on, honestly, because, as much as we learn from the old tends to learn from us new, the newer generations and stuff. I say us like I'm in that new generation. They value diversity, inclusivity, and equality, which is not bad at all, given, we ain't even gonna talk about the boomers and what they think about that back in the day. But let's move on to millennials, empathetic and emotionally intelligent. Ooh, yeah. Right there, stroking that ego, and good at communicating needs after thinking them through. Yes. Loyal and committed once invested. And sometimes that's a downfall because not everybody is meant to, not everybody is on the side of good when it comes to you. So when you get invested with people, they kind of leave you high and dry sometimes. But that's just part of being a millennial. You know, you care so much. Gen X, they don't care about nothing. No. Highly independent and low maintenance partners. How many times have you heard, a Gen X say, well, I don't need much. Just give me this, whatever. I don't need all that. I don't need all that technology and this and that, whatever. Just give me this and I'll be good. I don't need a big house. I don't need this and that. They're problem solvers who don't panic easily. I will give them that. Score 1 for the Gen Xers. And respectful of personal space and autonomy. It depends on who you ask. Because, Gen X, that was during the era of all the romantical rock and roll back in the day, where they made that mainstream. But they have mature communication style. Well, it depends on who you're talking to. The older we get, the more we go back to arguing like children. And baby boomers, consistent, loyal, long-term oriented. Yeah, that's true. Values reliability and stability. How many times have you heard about that? Is somebody married somebody because they married money? Is what they used to say, because that meant your daughter was going to be okay. They wanted she may have, what is it, the classic, what is that, The Notebook, that movie? That right there, where mama and dad wanted her to marry old boy because, hey, he's got money, he's got plans, he's got all this, but she loved old broke boy. Which isn't, it's a bad name. You got to figure out, you want to be happy or you want to be secure back in the day, And there were no jobs like there were today. There was no, social media and stuff to where you can make money hand and foot doing whatever. You had to pick. Are you going to work? Or you can marry this rich man and you'll be okay. You'll set your children up for life. They're well off. They're doing great. You'll have a better life financially. You won't have to struggle. How many times have you heard that? Grandma, this and that. It's a cliche, classic movie cliche. Marry the rich guy, you'll never have to worry, but they love the poor guy. The guy that, not even necessarily poor, just isn't rich. He goes to work every day. And that's the cliche, I can't buy you everything in the world, but I can, I promise to love you till the day that I die. All that good stuff. They're good at building strong family structures. Now, we'll give them that. How many times that grandpa started this, grandma started this, great-grandma, and then started doing this. They started taking us to church, and from then on, grandpa, took his family to church. They kept them in church, this and that, or, just this is why we do this at Thanksgiving, because grandpa started this, and we've done it ever since on Thanksgiving. The day of Thanksgiving, he gives a speech or whatever it is. They're generous with time, support, and resources. Yeah. And the silent generation, deeply committed and loyal. I don't think you can say that about anybody on any age group. Because, there's so many what about these people? They wasn't. Reliable partners and friends, they value tradition, respect, and community. The good old days, you know what I mean? Excellent listeners with strong interpersonal patience, thoughtful, intentional decision making. That is all the green flags we've got. Okay. Good morning. You're live on 259 with Oran Jackson and Micah Frazier. That must not have been a silent generation because they just hung up in my face. You're listening live on 259 in the morning with Oran Jackson and Micah Frazier. Let us know what you think about what some green flags, what some red flags are. And if you're thinking about starting something new, but you're just not sure, and you may be one of those late bloomers, give us a call, 286-6642. You just don't hang up in my face. You're listening to 96.7 KBEL. Here's Parker McCullen with Handle on You.
Name was Tyrone Johnson. I've never seen that before.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that's what the caller word.
What's going on, Chanel? Caitlin, what's up? I know why Oran Jackson has never been to Popeyes. I mean, you've seen the commercial. The only white meat there is the chicken.
No, there's a black female doing the commercial too.
Louisiana chicken.
Come get you some fried chicken. Like, I figured the producers would go against the stereotypes.
I want to say it's, I don't know. I have to look into that. I want to say like it is a,
I mean, that is their target audience, so that is smart.
I think it is a black owned business, or maybe that might be her. It may be her business. How y'all doing this morning? On the old tickety top. Said, what did Cassie say? I had Dad stop, and I got some wine the other day. Coming back from Tulsa, wowza, my nerves were so shot I caved. Understandable, though. I mean, sometimes you need something to take the edge off, as they say. He stopped at Antlers. I'm rolling, I swear. Got me a cup of ice. Got that little tiny 4-pack of some Chardonnay, which is pure fat in that white wine. Man, oh man, I read every little house book. Read every little house book at Luke Fada at Miss Tharp's class. Miss Tharp, I ain't heard that name in a long time. I rode my exercise bike earlier today and did my core exercises. I missed 2 days because that was infusion. I swear. Sean Douglas says, dang, laugh out loud. Yeah, Cassie, you got to think about it as it's not an end result. It's more of like just adding that to your lifestyle, saying no most of the time, but it's okay to occasionally, or just to a point where, I don't necessarily need the wine today. But last week with Thanksgiving, or if it was a stressful day, as that would include the other day, hey, no one's going to blame you. You'd be surprised how many people are functioning alcoholics throughout the day. Not even just like you're talking about, like people in higher up positions.
Shoot, coke too.
Like all kinds of stuff. Everybody has their vices that they don't want nobody to find out about. That was Parker McCullen. Handle on you. You're listening to Live on 259 in the morning with Oran Jackson and Micah Frazier. Here, we can talk some more about the tipping culture, the public opinion polls about tipping culture, how often people tip, how much attitudes towards mandatory services, and all that. Let's see what some of the polls say. Because it just, I don't mind tipping, but what am I tipping for is the question. I need an answer. And how much do people tip? According to 2023 surveys by Pew Research Center, about 92% of adults, U.S. adults who dine in and sit down at restaurants with a wait staff, they say always or often leave a tip. 81% say they always tip. For other services, 78% of tip for haircuts, 76% tip for food delivery, 70% tip at bars, 61% tips their taxis or rideshare drivers. But tipping is much less common for coffee shops, fast casual restaurants. Only 25% tip regularly at coffee shops. 12% do so in fast casual restaurants, counter service restaurants. How do you feel about like drive-ins, like Sonics and stuff? where they don't give you the option to get your food, go up to the counter and get your food.
Drive through,
There is that.
but sometimes it's packed.
Like I try to tip at least, even at that deal. Here's $1. All you did, I'm right in front of the door.
Yeah.
Like you walked 5 feet. You didn't prepare the food. You didn't, you basically just went in, grabbed my food, and brought it out whenever it come up.
Hey, bring back the roller skates.
There used to be a guy in Broken Bow. At one point, I can't remember when it was, but yeah, he had the roller. So I tip him like, hey, bro is doing the most. He's bringing back the classic roller skating drive-through. What was it? What do they call it? Car hop.
Yeah.
The classic car hop. Had the roller skates on, and he was a pro. Like he'd do circles and all kind of stuff. So yeah, that's where the tip. Put on a show, dinner and a show. Here you go. You can have the change. 43 cents. No, I'm playing. You're listening live on 2:59 in the morning. We got your national days, notable birthdays, and memorable events coming up in about 14 minutes. Till then, here's Morgan Wallen. Thought you should know.
Thought you should know. Play Cornelius's nil minute.
Yes, sir. I have a few Chardonnays. What of it? Tell Cassie I said sup. Cassie Johnson, Sean Douglas says sup. Said thank you, that helps me feel better. Yeah, Cassie, it's all about with anything, especially in our age. It's more about adding and taking away your daily lifestyle choices. Like, dietitians or, people, trainers and stuff, they say you can have your pies and pizzas and this and stuff. But the whole thing about getting to the point where, the weight loss and this and that is right now you don't have a level of what you eat good and what you eat bad. It's all mixed. So the whole deal of dieting and doing this and that is, right now you may try to eat healthy 20% of the time, but the rest of the 80%, it's a free-for-all. And it's all about making that transition of 80% of the time you're watching what you eat and 20% of the time it's a free-for-all. And just doing that, 60-40, 70-30, just doing that can help you get to the, your weight loss goal without being extensive. Because when you think of a diet, you think of trying to lose weight by, in 3 months or 2 months, whatever. When in reality, if you just make this part of your lifestyle, some days you may, maybe a special occasion, there's cake, somebody's birthday, cake, pie, whatever. And then tomorrow back to dieting. Yes, balance. As soon as I had that glass, I wanted more the next day, and the next day I should have never got it. But balance, yes. I think I'm gonna starve. Don't starve. What's up, Caitlin? How are you doing this morning? Yeah, it's all about just moderation.
Yeah. Just eat one ingredient foods.
And with the wine, everything in moderation.
People eating fruit and steak saying I hop on a diet. Like, no, you're just eating normal food. That's what you're supposed to be eating.
It is a diet.
Yeah.
Because but that should be that's your diet is I eat this and I try to stay away from this. But sometimes, like I said, there's cake, there's pie. It's Oran Jackson's birthday. Yeah. He wants to go all out, get him a full big old birthday cake. Hey, let him have it. But tomorrow we'll be back on, weeding all that stuff out. That was Morgan Wallen. Thought you should know. We got about 10 minutes before your national days, notable birthdays, and memorable events. But first, we got The Warrior Minute with Cornelius Neal. Chanel says, balance. Eat healthy all week so I can have a little sip on the weekend. Exactly. That's all it is. Moderation. I drank that wine and then went and flew and ate cupcakes and chocolate chip cookies. I say, if you're going to binge like that, hey, do it all at the same time. That way, with the wine and, you got some cookies and stuff, hey, it's all on that. It's a free-for-all side right now. So get it in all you want. And then the next day, hey, I'm good. I got all my sweets. I got my wine. I got all this stuff. And, I'm good for a few days. Then you go back to working on making, eating healthier, drinking more water or whatever. It's all about moderation. And the majority of the doctors will tell you that if you have a glass of wine, it's not going to kill you. If you have a beer, it's not going to kill you. If you drink whiskey in moderation, it's not going to kill you. But it's the moderation people struggle with. A lot of us, especially, millennials and before, because I don't think Gen Z really drinks like we did. Like they kind of seen the habit we've all been accustomed to, and they're still, some still do, but as a whole, I don't think they go all out. But like for us, that bottle of Crown was supposed to last. The people buy a bottle of Crown and you can keep it on the shelf and just, take your drink, make your mixed drink whenever you want, here and there. No, we get that bottle and we had to finish it that night.
Yo.
Whether it was two of us or one of us or whatever, just crashing out on some Crown Royal. And so, like, stuff like that, we've been trained to finish the bottle instead of, like, no, I have me a shot. I'll have, moderation. Just, no, it was your bottle. You brought a bottle? Oh, sweet, we got it. Bro, like, boom, boom. Everybody's tipping it up, tipping it back. But yeah, I would venture to say most doctors would say that that's only for stuff that I don't know how, like hard drugs and stuff. Yeah, that's never healthy. But as far as, alcohol, and, that's all in the same deal. But it's more of that it's the moderation that people struggle with. Because, yes, you do want another drink. But in the same sense, it's just like, nah, you have a beer. People go to bars and watch the Monday Night Football. That's their weekly deal. They're and their buddies. They go to Monday Night Football. The Raiders are playing or whatever. And so they have some beers. They, whatever. It's Monday night, mind you. Most people are just like, you're drinking on a Monday, bro? Yeah, people do that. But they also know they got to go to work in the morning. So it's not really, they're crashing out on some beers tonight.
Yeah, what's the difference drinking on a Friday and drinking on a Monday?
Nothing.
Yeah.
I know from experience. It's just, my dad used to get on to me about that. And, and I would be off. I was off Wednesdays and Sundays. So
Yo, you was off on the church days.
Yeah, like they were, we had their schedule. It was like, yeah, you're off Wednesdays and Thursdays or Sundays. So I was like, okay, cool. But that's so I would like go to the lake or something and, go swimming and, drink. And he's like, you drinking on a Tuesday? And he's like, I'm off tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like I can't, And, of course, I'm 22, 20, so it's like, I'm going to the lake, yeah.
You're a grown man.
That's right. Live on 2:59 in the morning with Oran Jackson and Micah Frazier.
Yes, sir.
Your last chance to get any request in, 286-6642. And You know what? Let me get a request. Let me get another Tracy Lawrence. Or no, go ahead and play the George Jones. Hey, we got Radio Lover by George Jones. And we got your national days, noble birthdays, and memorable events coming up in about 5 minutes. Let's go and put them on, see what they say. Good morning. You're live on 259 with Oran Jackson and Micah Frazier. Never stop love. I'll get you that before trading lines. All right, no problem. You have a good day. So we got Radio Lover, and then our national days, noble birthdays, and memorable events, and then trading lines. And before that, never stop loving you. Caitlin says, just the day of the week. Yep, that's it. Yeah, my dad was like, I was like, bro, let me live. Yeah, he used to like, just like, you're drinking on a Tuesday. Like, yeah, I'm off on Wednesdays.
Dad, you're suffocating me.
For real. And that's one of the deals, you know, he was a boomer, so it was just, it's hard to get those, because they've been conditioned, you know, that's how they were raised. It was, you know, drinking was a, you know, weekend thing. It's just like, over time, it just became a social status, I guess. Like, you know, the bar, yeah, I don't feel like drinking like that. I ain't got to drink. You know, I'm a drink, but, you know, the game's on. And I think that's the whole, you know, with like Hochtown stuff, they have the bars with the TVs and stuff. They serve pizza, they serve wings. So it's not just going to a bar. It's like, yeah, I feel like getting some wings, man. Get you some wings. Mike Peters, what's up? Sounds like a good plan. Today I had an egg and I silent chicken breast at 1, and that's it. I will. Sean says, you talking about the parties at my apartment? Which part? Which party? Sean Doug said, let's drink tonight. Let's do it. So you can't be scared, Cassie. You can't be scared of the drink. You got to know. There's a guy we send each other the videos. It's a dude. He's like, I can't drink tonight. It's Tuesday, and then it goes on this deal. Just because it's Tuesday doesn't mean you can't. You know, this and that. And it's just a random. And it's so crazy because it'll be the day. Like, he's really good at posting his stuff that day. You know, I can't drink tonight. It's Sunday, and I drank, you know, Friday and Saturday. Just because you drank Friday and Saturday doesn't mean you can't, you know, this and that. So whoever sent you this, you know, this and that, it's pretty funny. And it'll be, you know, I can't drink tonight. I got to work in the mornings. Just because you got to work doesn't mean you. And some steamed broccoli left alone. Sean said, tell Cassie to come drink with us. I'll be calling Oran Jackson at 7 o'clock, calling in. Hey, we're live on location here at Sean Doug's house. Watching the sun come up. I'll be like them people that called in that one day where they were like disoriented. They were gone.
They were feeling good, bro.
That's right. Live on 259 in the morning with Oran Jackson and Micah Frazier. How you doing today, Oran Jackson?
Dude, I'm doing great. It's a Friday Eve.
Friday Eve. It is a beautiful.
Ready for that game tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Don't forget, folks, if you plan on going to the game, it is at Ada at the ECU Coy Ishtal Stadium, I believe. At 7 p.m., the doors open at 5. And we did find out that you can have noisemakers. You just can't do it while they're playing. in play. So, after a big play, hey, bring the noisemakers. After a big hit, plays over, bring the noisemakers, yell as loud, make it, just let your presence be known by the players. But that's in Ada, Oklahoma, tomorrow night, 17 Tuttle, the defending state champions Tuttle. So we'll see what those Savages are made of tomorrow. And I think we're all excited. We're ready to see, regardless of what happens. But it's time for your national days, notable birthdays, and memorable events for December 4th. It's National Cookie Day.
You want a cookie?
Thank you for the lights. Okay, so in honor of National Cookie Day, I'm going to tell you a story from high school. The cheerleaders were selling cookies, to raise money for whatever.
Okay.
I get that, I buy me some cookies, Snickerdoodle, my favorite. And I had a buddy who will remain anonymous for fear of, hey, it's not an embarrassing story, but it's just funny. And, I don't put people's names out there like that. But, I'm sitting up there and I guess he thought I was, I had dropped one of my cookies. Sad, I know. But yeah, I dropped one of my cookies on the floor, so I picked it up, not wanting to be a litter bug. And I was going to play a prank on him. I had the cookie in my hand, and I was like, hey, you want this cookie? And before I could even, I was going to, let him, yeah, man, I'll take it. But nah, man, it fell on the floor. Before I could even, think, he like a frog or, where you see their tongue come out and they grab the fly like that, straight hand to his mouth, eating the cookie. And I was like, oh, that fell on the floor, dude. So he just starts throwing, all of which totally defeated my purpose of not littering because he just spit it out all over the hallway floor and stuff. But yeah, it was just so funny. I was like, bro, you didn't give me a chance to tell you that it fell on the floor. You just straight hand them out like that. But National Cookie Day, December 4th, serves up a sweet treat. Bakers across the country warm up the ovens for holiday baking, and we enjoy giving tins of cookies to friends and family all season long. It's also National Sock Day. Well, if I didn't have Kate Slater, I would be there. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Thanks for the advice, my friends. Making me feel better. Hey, no problem. We'll see you tomorrow, Cassie. You have a good day. Yes, sir. National Sock Day, December 4th, recognizes the rarest of all lasting unities, the marriage of matched socks. When they find each other, wash after wash, dry after dry, it's time to celebrate. It's also Wildlife Conservation Day. Each year on December 4th, Wildlife Conservation Day seeks to spread awareness about preserving and protecting the natural world and its inhabitants. Additionally, the observance strives to put an end to wildlife crime and supporting the Endangered Species Act. It's also Santa's List Day. On December 4th, Santa's List celebrates the day that Santa puts together his list of naughty and nice children. It's also a day for kids to start working on their holiday wish lists. It's Cabernet Franc Day. Cabernet Franc Day celebrates the exquisite wine, also known as Cab Franc Day. This is the day to learn more about this kind of wine. National Dice Day. Each year on December 4th, National Dice Day recognizes an ancient gaming tool. Many games incorporate dice as a way to add random challenges or obstacles to the objectives. It's time to roll the dice and see where you land. Hey, back in the day, I'm telling you, I seen a deal. This guy was like, y'all didn't go to no hood high school. Y'all went to uppity high school. I did not know I went to a hood high school because we were rolling dice for lunch money and stuff freshman year. We had there was gambling, there was all kind of stuff going on. High school was crazy. And I've never thought about it until he was bringing up all these different stuff that was going on. I was like, yeah, that happened. Yeah, that happened. Yeah, that happened. Like, what the heck? It's wild out there, folks. Your notable birthdays on December 4th is William Alexander, 1926, general during the Revolutionary War. Elias Smith Dennis, 1812, brevet major general for the Union Army. Crazy Horse, 1840, Oglala Sioux chief, famously known for his participation in the Battle of Little Bighorn. Chester Greenwood, 1858, inventor of the earmuffs. He was 15 years old. You go, Chester. We appreciate you. Jesse Burkett, 1868, MLB left fielder. Garfield Wood, 1880, inventor of the first hydraulic hoist for dump trucks. Alfred Hershey, 1908, co-discoverer of the different strains of bacteriophagy that could change genetic material when infecting the same bacterial cell. I totally seen that going different with the last name Hershey. I was expecting, inventor of Hershey chocolate. Alex North, 1910, composer best known for his film scores, A Streetcar Named Desire, Spartacus, and Cleopatra. Pappy Boyington, 1912, Medal of Honor recipient for his heroic combat fighting. Jeanne Manford, 1920, co-founder of the P-Flag, Parents, Family, and Friends. And we're going to call it that. We don't need to know all that business. John, look it up if you're interested. John C. Portman Jr., 1924, architect who designed the Renaissance Center in Detroit, Michigan, and Tomorrow Square in Shanghai, China. Max Bayer Jr., 1937, actor best known for his role as Jethro Bodine in the Beverly Hillbillies. Dennis Wilson, 1944, drummer and co-founder of the Beach Boys. Wouldn't it be nice to... Jeff Bridges, 1949, multi-award-winning actor. Gary Rossington, 1951, guitarist and founding member of the Southern rock band Leonard Skinner. Marissa Tomei, 1964, actress known for her role as Mona Lisa Vito in My Cousin Vinny. Kevin Sussman, 1970, actor known for his role as Stuart Bloom in The Big Bang Theory. Tyra Banks, 1973, model and actress. Darvis Patton, 1977, world champion sprinter. And Jelly Roll, 1984, musician who rose to fame for his single Son of a Sinner and Need a Favor. Your memorable events for December 4th, 1674, the first dwelling is built in Chicago by Father Marquette. The first in 1682, the first General Assembly is held in Pennsylvania. 1619, at least 38 colonists arrive in Virginia. 1791, the world's first Sunday newspaper, The Observer, is published. 1804, the U.S. House of Representatives adopts articles of impeachment against Supreme Court Justice Samuel Chase. 1812, Peter Gaillard receives his patent for the horse-drawn mower. 1816, James Monroe becomes the 5th president of the U.S. 1843, Manila paper is patented in Massachusetts. 1865, North Carolina ratifies the 13th Amendment, declaring slaves would be legally free within 2 weeks. Imagine having to wait them 2 weeks, bro. Like you still let put them on 2-week notice, I guess.
Yeah.
1867, the Order of the Patrons of Husbandry, the Grange, is founded by the farmer named Oliver Hudson Kelly. 1881, the first edition of LA Times is published. 1906, Alpha Phi Alpha becomes the first intercollegiate Greek lettered fraternity for Black Americans at Cornell University. 1927, Duke Ellington performs at the Cotton Club in New York City. 1918, President Wilson becomes the first president to travel to Europe while in office. 1933, President Roosevelt creates the Federal Alcohol Control Administration. 1943, President Roosevelt closes down the Works Progress Administration. 1945, the U.S. becomes part of the UN. 1950, Jesse L. Brown is the first Black naval aviator and is killed in action. 1954, the first Burger King opens in Miami, Florida. 1956, Elvis Presley, Jerry Lee Lewis, Carl Perkins, and Johnny Cash gather at Sun Studio. 1964, 800 students at Berkeley are arrested after taking over the administration building. 1969, the Black Panther Party members Fred Hampton and Mark Clark are shot and killed. That has been your National Days, notable birthdays, and memorable events. Don't forget to go ahead and eat those cookies, wear your socks, conserve the wildlife, get your Santa's list, get you a glass of Cabernet Franc, and roll the dice here on December 4th. Stay tuned for Trading Lines. We got our last request, Never Stopped Loving You by Conway Twitty, I believe. Don't forget to get your calls in. Get all your stuff ready. It's almost Christmas time. You need that extra money? Go ahead and get it ready. Here it is. I always get. Cassie, what a day to Cassie, unfortunately, it's Cabernet Franc Day, so I'm just saying. It might not be that bad of an idea if you were just to have some Cabernet tonight. Facebook, YouTube, we will see y'all tomorrow. 7 a.m. Get ready for those savages. If you're traveling, be safe. I believe I'm going to have a basketball game tonight, don't they?
I don't think so. I hope not. Did you see on the Warrior Minute?
I didn't even hear it.
Oh, okay. Neither.
But we'll see y'all tomorrow, 7 a.m.